balance is one of the most important skills to master in business and life. So important that we're doing a 2-part review of a 24-part series that we did on the Saturday Morning Hustle in 2021 and 2022 called the Balance Series, examining a series of issues that challenge entrepreneurs, business owners, decision makers, and career builders, how to balance what seem to be contradictory viewpoints in business and personal life. More than just work-life balance, we examine a variety of this or that scenarios and talk about how to balance them. Today, we'll do a brief review of the first 12 episodes, Season 1, recorded the last Monday of the month in 2021. And then next week, we will review episodes 13 through 24, Season 2. So we give you a synopsis of each episode, a small breakdown, let you decide which episodes you want to go back and listen to again or for the first time. And then the links to those episodes will be in the show notes below. It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means, the Saturday Morning Hustle Podcast. No hyperbolic hustle culture, just brutally honest, straightforward business advice and motivation every Saturday for entrepreneurs, business owners, or anyone pursuing success. You can't just work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and hope to become the next big thing. You gotta work smart, work hard, put in extra effort while everyone else is sleeping, playing games, or wasting time. Maximize bonus time to get more work done. This podcast is for anyone willing to come in early, stay late, hustle on the weekend to be truly great. So here we go. Let's review Season 1 of the Balance Series, bonus content for the Saturday Morning Hustle. This is 2021, Season 1, episodes 1 through 12. Figure out which ones you want to go back and review again and dive deeper into the idea of balancing this or that scenarios and not trying to find black and white answers, but how to find balance in your decision-making process. So episode 1 was called Work-Life Balance versus Hustle Culture. Now, you know, in this podcast, we've told you many times, this is not standard hustle culture. It's not about working yourself to death, working so many hours. You got to work smart and work hard. But you also can't expect a perfect work-life balance. In fact, I don't even use the term work-life balance. I use the term work-life interaction because they need to go together. They need to collaborate, but you're never going to find a perfect 50-50 balance in your work life and your home life. So check out episode 1. Episode 2, the success mindset versus lessons from failure. Now, a lot of people these days talk about how to fail forward or how to learn your lessons when you fail. Of course, failure is only when you stop. Everything else is an unexpected outcome, a negative outcome, a less than desirable outcome. Those things do teach you lessons, and there's always nuggets in there, and they're going to happen. In fact, you'll get more no's than yeses. So you need to embrace the learning lesson that comes with failing, but we're trying to be successful. We're trying to achieve. We want to achieve. We want to be successful. So you have to have a mindset of success. So how do you embrace being successful and doing things that you can be successful at while also embracing the lessons that come from unexpected or negative outcomes? There's a balance there for sure. That's episode 2. Episode 3. I started my first business when I was 15 years old. I didn't really understand I was starting a business, and I did not know what being an entrepreneur is. Now that I'm over 50, I've been doing this a very long time. I definitely know what being an entrepreneur is. I have owned a business or two for those 37 now years that have taught me some lessons. So there were some things I did that were beneficial and worked when I was 15, 16, 18, 20 years old. And there are things I do now in my 30s, 40s, and 50s that are very different because of experience, because of knowledge, because of how the world has changed around us. So what lessons can we learn from a 15-year-old that is aggressive, that is fearless, that is willing to do what it takes? And what lessons can we learn from someone who's been doing this a very long time, who has patience, who builds community, who isn't trying to look for fast money or shortcuts? Where is the balance? That's episode 3. Episode 4, setting a fair price versus getting what you're worth. This can be very hard for anyone who owns a business or has a side hustle, whether they're an artist, musician. Anytime you're creating something that you ultimately have to sell, product or service, You want to have a fair price. You want to be able to compete in the market and have the person who's paying for it feel like they got value for it. But you also have to be able to charge what is good and worthy of your time, of your experience, of your expertise, of your skills. It's got to be worthwhile for you and for your customer, and you have to compete in the market. Where is the balance? Now, the next one, episode 5, will make a lot of sense when you realize this happened in 2021 when I recorded this episode, which is the balance of working from home versus building a corporate culture. How do you build corporate culture, teamwork, and camaraderie with the people that you work with, the people on your team, your employees, your collaborators, when you're all physically in different locations, when you're not together in the business, in the building, in the office? How do you work from home but still build corporate culture? Check out that episode. That's episode 5 from 2021. But also check out, I did 2 episodes with Kit Letcher, the president of the BBB, on the Golden Group Strategic Growth Podcast, January of this year. Check out those 2 episodes as well, because Kit actually has developed a great corporate culture while her staff here at the BBB, my office is in the same building with them. Her team is mostly remote, but she has still maintained great corporate culture. So episode 6 of the Balance series is the CEO should always or the CEO should never. And this goes to the idea that some people have an attitude that the CEO should be ready to do any job in the business, take out the trash, or make a fresh pot of coffee in the morning. So the example that I used on this episode. And some people feel like a CEO or someone who's earned that role and is playing that role should be elevated from everyone else in the business, should be kind of leading from the top, and should be only doing things that are CEO worthy. So there's a lot of pros and cons to both. And we talk about how if you're a CEO or any type of leader, how you can be a team player, but also lead from above as well. So check out that episode. That's episode 6. Episode 7. You hear this on the podcast all the time. In fact, we got swag with this. Work smart and work hard. You have to do both. It's better when you work smart first and then work hard. You can't be successful without the hard work. Guarantee you that. But just hard work is effort and toil, and doesn't necessarily guarantee success unless it's smart, unless there's planning, unless there's strategy, unless there's a vision and goals and measurements, etc. So where do you get started, and how much do you need to do working smart before it's time to put the effort in and to work hard and to actually earn the success that you're trying to build? There's a balance there. Check out that episode. Episode 8, being an entrepreneur versus a business owner. There are differences. There are people who own businesses and are entrepreneurs. There are people who own business and are not entrepreneurs. They are simply business owners. And sometimes entrepreneurs own business and they do not think like a business owner. I know that sounds a little confusing. You need to check out that episode because there are differences, but there's similarities. How to balance them for yourself as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or for someone who works for an entrepreneur or works for a business owner. Understand the differences and how to communicate with them, how to relate to them as well. Rising tide versus getting yours. Episode 9. A rising tide lifts all boats. You have to build community. You have to build organization. You have to build relationships in order to rise all boats with a rising tide. But you also have to make sure your boat is getting lifted and that you're getting paid your fair due as well, because you've earned it, because you've built it. So how do you make sure that you're bringing others with you, that you're elevating, that you're creating a community, and still make sure you get paid, make sure you get recognized, make sure that you are elevating yourself in your career, in your business, in your pursuits, in your economic outcomes as well. Rising tide versus getting yours. Episode 9. Now, episode 10, self-reliance versus collaboration. A lot of people who are successful, a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, they think of themselves as someone who needs to do everything. I'll do it myself. I only trust myself. I'm willing to do it myself. I'm not making other people do things I can do. But in order to lead a team, to elevate, to scale a business, to go from a little bit of success to a lot of success, You have to allow other people to be part of that process. You have to collaborate. You have to delegate in order to be successful at higher levels. So how much do you do yourself? How much are you self-reliant? How much are you willing to do versus how much are you willing to delegate? How much are you willing to collaborate? How much are you willing to let other people do what they do because of availability, because of specialized skill sets, etc.? Where is that balance? Episode 11, brand now versus brand later. This was something very specific in 2021 where there was a lot of trend towards a soft brand with launching a startup and letting feedback from the audience and feedback from the market itself shape the branding versus a traditional opinion of branding at when you start a business, when you launch a business, that you come out with a very set brand with a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of input before doing it. But in order to make it clear who you are, your differentiation, how you do things, how you present value, and you set yourself apart from your competition so people understand what your business is because it's new, why they would be interested, why they want to buy, and if they did like it the first time, how to repeat that because of the presence of a strong brand. So those are two different concepts completely. I have very strong opinions on where the balance is there as well. Episode 12, defending yourself and your reputation versus seeming too defensive or making things worse. There's definitely a balance here. It's a very gray area when people are discussing your brand, your reputation, a product or service, an outcome of something online or in society, and it is negative and it's affecting you. Often people want to immediately push back and not allow that negative messaging to be out in the world. But sometimes that can make things worse. It's called the Streisand effect, where you make things worse by talking about a complaint someone had who that person didn't have as much influence as you thought. And sometimes you can seem too defensive. You can seem like you're hiding something, or you can seem like you're not open to feedback from your audience. So there's a definite balance, pros and cons, and things to think about when looking at how to defend yourself versus being too defensive in an online reputation in an age of Yelp reviewers and Google reviews and everything else. So that's episode 12. That's December 2021. Those are the first 12 episodes, season 1 of the Balance bonus series. I want you to check them out. All the links to those episodes are in the show notes or at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. Right at the top of the menu of SaturdayMorningHustle.com, we have the Balance series. Right there on that page are all 24 episodes. Thanks for listening. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment, leave a review, share with a friend. I would really appreciate that. Follow and engage on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and this Saturday Morning Hustle Facebook fan page. All the information, all the past episodes, all the Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, and Coffee and Donuts swag is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com.